Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today we're going to be going over a severe weather risk over the plains through Missouri. There is going to be an enhanced risk, which is a 3 out of 5, with a 30% significant risk for severe weather. That is in 2 days. But before we get to that, I do want to mention today's severe weather risk. There's a slight risk, which is a 2 out of 5. Which includes a 2% tornado risk, a 5% wind risk, and a 15% hail risk. Day 2, we also have a slight risk, which is a 2% tornado risk, 5% wind risk, and a 15% hail risk. None of those threats are significant at this time. Now for Day 3 is, once again, an enhanced risk, which does include Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Springfield, Missouri, Norman, Oklahoma, Columbia, Missouri, and for Dallas is in the slight risk. So anywhere from Indianapolis to Dallas and Waco, that's a slight risk, which is a 2 out of 5. So once again, that is a significant risk, which I do think will be a 10% significant tornado risk, and I could see this getting upgraded to a moderate risk, but it is not a moderate risk at this time. Also, for Day 4, which is the day after this enhanced risk, this will be in 3 days, we have a 15% risk for severe weather, so that is a slight risk as of now. That could also be upgraded, but it is not at this time. And then for Day 5, we do not have a risk yet, but in the discussion, they do mention adding a risk possibly. So for Day 3, some of the driving factors, sorry about that, we will have high dew points. So what I mean by that is we're going to have dew points up into the 60s and 70s. So as we're getting into Monday, the dew points will be getting into the mid and upper 60s, and parts of Texas will be in the lower 70s. Alright, so here's the GFS. This is our first model, and this is showing a possible line of storms down through Texas and Oklahoma and parts of Missouri. I do think that will be a threat, but I do also think we will have to watch Missouri and Indiana for some of a wind risk, but the tornado risk, once again, or where I think it will be from, I think, Missouri to Oklahoma. And we go to, if we keep moving, this does show a line of storms through Georgia, parts of Florida Panhandle, and Carolinas, which I do also think will be a possibility. If we switch to the Canadian model, this does also show that line of storms through Texas and Oklahoma. I don't think it will be a very long-lived line of storms, but it could be. And once again, storms up in Indiana, Missouri, and Kentucky. Switch to the icon here again. We do have that line of storms, and the storms up in Indiana and Missouri. And then if we move this forward, you can see we have that other risk where we have a possibility for a line of storms that can make its way all the way into Florida Panhandle, Georgia, and possibly South Carolina. We also take a look at the European model. Also is showing that line of storms through Oklahoma and Texas and possibly parts of Missouri. And if we move it forward, we have gone actually as far out as we can, but it does show that line in Alabama and starting to enter Georgia. Switch to a slightly older model run to get it all the way through. You can see that line of storms through Florida, Georgia, and possibly parts of South Carolina. I do also want to mention the flooding risk. Today is a slight risk for flooding in California, which is at least a 15% risk of flash flooding possible. For that day 2, we also have a marginal risk, which is at least a 5% risk for flooding. And day 3, that's when we start to get it with these storms again. That is with the storm system, the enhanced risk. That is going to be a slight risk for flooding, so at least a 15% chance for flash flooding. And then on day 4, just a marginal for Appalachian Mountains all the way up to Pennsylvania. And then day 5, there will be a slight risk up in Boston area, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and parts of Maine, New Hampshire. So that's also at least a 15% risk of flash flooding. Alright, well, that's all for today's video. We will hopefully be able to make another video about an update, and I will try my best to make another video if this especially does get a moderate risk, which I could see, which is a very possible chance. So just stay safe, keep your warnings on, and have a good day. Bye.